Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Miles Apart 25. As you can see, I have here a 1986 Nissan Skyline Wagon, which I'm going to give a quick review on. I've had this car for 6 years now, and it's just basically to say what an amazing car they are and how reliable and trustworthy old cars in general are. You know, I mean, everyone wants these modern cars like electric cars, but let's face it, they're not all they're cracked up to be. Here we have it, the 1986 Nissan Skyline R31 Wagon. These were not manufactured in the UK ever, so for UK viewers, I'm sorry, but you can't get one unless it's been imported from they were made in Australia, obviously Japan, from 1985, and in Australia they were available from 1986 up until 1991 in wagon format. Not 100% on the saloon, or for Australian viewers and American viewers, sedan. Not sure on those, on the year model for those. Maybe it's the same. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so this has got the fabled RB30E, which I'm told stands for economy. And yeah, they're a legendary engine, as a lot of people may know. Let's pop the bonnet or the hood. Sorry, we're not in America. This one's a little bit stiff, this door. Not the easiest to open. So yeah, let's pop the bonnet, or for American viewers, hood. And we'll have a look at the old girl. Yep, there we go. Not the easiest thing to do with a gimbal in your hand. So yeah, there she is, the RB30E. It's been well maintained, regular oil changes were done by myself, and of course K&N, which obviously means 50 brake horsepower more. Yeah, fantastic engine. Let's turn her over. Such a smooth sounding engine. So smooth. And not the most powerful engine. I think they were 153 horsepower. But then the torque was, I think, 186, which is not too bad really. Quite a fair bit of fan noise because she's already been running, so the viscous fan's constantly going to cool the engine. And there she is, with the bonnet up. This one hasn't got the standard rims on it. These were off, they were actually off my friend's, believe it or not, trying to stag. Originally in silver, and then I sprayed them this lovely fetching bronze colour, which I think goes well, complements the blue quite well. Yeah, and back in these days, if you had something with a bit of power, then you got twin exhausts. Of course you did. The more exhaust you have, the more powerful the car is. It's not like that these days. Yeah, so there you go. She's a beaut. as the Aussies say. She's a beaut, mate. She's a fair dinkum. Yeah, these things are just absolutely made to last. They really are. I mean, it's coming up to 40 years old next year, and just look how clean it is. It really is in fantastic condition. It's not perfect, but for the age of the car, it's pretty damn good. I think a lot of the modern cars these days, probably majority of modern cars these days, they're not going to last 40 years. Come on. Do you think so? Do you really think so? I don't think so. And, you know, I think it's the simplicity of them. There's not much to go wrong. There really isn't. Look at the boot space. Absolutely fantastic. You know, plenty of room. And here we are inside the wagon, the mighty R31. And like I was saying before, all the dashboard is very, very 80s. It screams 1980s. I mean, look how square it all is. It really is a retro box on wheels, and it's got that old school smell that you only get in a really old car. You know, there's nothing else like it, is there? Let's face it. Whether it's the actual damp of the water leaking in, from the water leaking in, which I'm not going to say anything more about. But yeah, this one's really tidy for the age. You know, 40 years old almost, and not really much wear on it at all. And if we start her up, you can hear the sound. It sounds. Look at that on the key. She purrs. She absolutely purrs. Okay, so let's go for a bit of a drive. Pop her into reverse. So this one's actually an automatic, which wasn't really initially my preference. I've always had manual cars, much prefer a manual. But this one actually, it's so smooth, and it really does suit living in Sydney, because in Sydney the traffic, anyone who lives there will know that the traffic is so bad. So you don't want to be constantly on the clutch. So yeah, from that point of view, I think an automatic is a good option. And yeah, I think as you get older, you appreciate sorry, you appreciate the manuals just for ease of use. So here we go, let's have a bit of a drive. So here we go. This is the official test drive of the Nissan Skyline R31 Wagon. Sorry about the blooper before. I did actually mean an automatic, not manual. So yeah, here we go. A little bit about the driving experience of the wagon. It's completely and utterly analog, so not anything like a modern car. It really does You know, you feel the road. There's no computers telling you to do this and telling you to do that, and lane assist and all that. I mean, as good as they are from a safety point of view, I just think a lot of the time they're more of a distraction. Here we go, we've just got to watch these cyclists. Yeah, so I think today in today's world, we're just constantly connected to a computer. All the time you're looking at a screen. And I feel like when you're driving a car, you need to get away from that. It's like, it's a break from it, you know? It's a time to gather your thoughts and think about, you know, if you've been at work all day, you can think about how your day at work's been, and I don't know, I just feel like with a modern car you always have to be looking at a screen all the time. And you know, life shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't be always looking at some sort of screen, and I think that's how modern cars are geared. They're just geared for you to be always looking at some sort of computer screen, phone screen, and you know, you've got to update something all the time. With this car, you don't have to update anything. It's all just pure driving experience. And you know, I love things like the steering wheel on this. It's so nicely weighted and thin. Modern cars aren't like that, you know. You don't get the thin steering wheels like you do on these old 80s cars. It just feels so much nicer. Right, we're stuck behind a bus, unfortunately. Not the ultimate test drive experience, but I'm sure he'll pull over at some point. And yeah, in this particular car, it's a 4-speed auto. For all you nerds that want to know the technical side of the automatic box, we can try and do a wipers test while we're stuck behind this bus. Oh, that's the indicators. What am I doing? So there you go, wiper test. Just for my mate Ian Seabrook, check out his channel, Hubnut. Let's see if we've got a triangle of doom. A bit more water on there. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a triangle of doom. And if you don't know what the heck I'm on about, you'll have to look up Hubnut, and you'll know instantly what I mean by triangle of doom. The tyres on this, I had them changed about 4 years ago, and they weren't the best brand in the world, but I was told that they were made by a well-known tyre brand. But they were a budget tyre, but they were made by like a mainstream tyre brand, so I actually thought they'd last a little bit longer than 4 years. The tread pattern is still good, there's still plenty of meat on them. But unfortunately, in the rain, this thing seems to step out. The rear end seems to step out, and not when you're going particularly fast. It just kind of steps out, which is obviously a little bit scary. So I spoke with my mechanic, and he said, oh, you know, your shocks are probably worn, your shock absorbers, your rear shocks. So I thought I'll get some shock absorbers ordered. They weren't too expensive. I think they were about a couple of $100 maybe, which Australian dollars, which is probably about 300 US, maybe a little bit more. So I had the rear shocks done, and thinking that it would fix the problem. And then as soon as it rained, I thought I'll go into a corner with a little bit of pace, not too much. Same thing happened. Back end started to kick out. So yeah, I think probably the tyres are going to need updating at some point, replacing at some point with a better brand than what I've got. But you know, I mean, on a dry day, if you push it through the corners with some pace, you'd be surprised, honestly, how well it handles. By the way, that's Scotland Island over there. If you know the northern beaches in Sydney, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Scotland Island is a little island where, oh, the bus has gone now. That's it. Perfect. Scotland Island is a little island where you can live on it, and the price of property is slightly cheaper than mainland Sydney. And the reason for that is because the only way to get over from mainland Sydney is by boat. There's no bridge, and there's no ferry, as far as I'm aware. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I don't think there's a ferry. So if you live over there, you've pretty much got to have your own boat. So it drops the price of the properties over there by a fair bit. I can't quote you on exactly how much they cost, but yeah, they're a fair bit cheaper than the mainland of the northern beaches. Beautiful area though, as you can see. It's absolutely stunning. So as far as driving experience, this car and the engine, it has so much low down torque, it's untrue. It's got that lazy kind of feel to it, where I don't mean lazy as in like really slow, but lazy as in like you don't have to rev the engine. The torque's just there, as low as sort of 1500 RPM. There's bags and bags of torque, which basically means you don't have to strain the engine to pick up any sort of pace. It really is great in that way. I appreciate that from the old straight six. Single overhead cam. So on the famous RB26 that they use in the R30, in the R32, R33, and R34 Skylines, they were a twin overhead cam, whereas this is only a single overhead cam. But you know, still a very respectable engine, the RB30. And if you look on YouTube, you can see people have done, you know, single turbo upgrades on them, and they're getting 1000 brake horsepower plus easily. And yeah, they're a stonking engine. It's not something I would consider on this, but they really are a well-proven engine. Anyone who knows the RB series will already know that. So yeah, I love it. The miles per gallon is probably, I would say, late 20s, maybe like 28, 29. You may get 30 on a good day, but you know, probably more motorway cruising for 30. So not economically, not the most economical car in the world by modern standards, but yeah, it's a good all-round, it's a good solid all-round engine. So here I am at Church Point in Sydney, and yeah, I'm going to end the video here. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the old wagon, and I'll say goodbye. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, watch my content that I'm going to be posting and all my videos. Yeah, enjoy. That's true, that.